Chapter 1, Part 1. Lines are drawn. Seeing the battlefield outside and within. Scenes 1.1.1.12. Opening scene. Visualizing Kurukshetra. The sun rises over the dusty plains of Kurukshetra. Imagine the air heavy with the sound of conch shells and war drums vibrating deep in your chest. The ground beneath you trembles as thousands of chariots line up, wheels pressing into the earth, horses neighing and pulling against their reins. Armies stretch as far as the eye can see, banners waving, weapons glinting, warriors adjusting their armor for what may be their final day. This is not just a battlefield. It is Dharma itself taking form, about to be tested in fire. On one side stand the Pandavas, 5 brothers who have lived through exile, humiliation, and betrayal. Their eyes burn with both pain and resolve. They are fighting not just for a kingdom, but for justice, for Dharma, for survival itself. On the other side, the Kauravas, 100 brothers led by Duryodhana. Behind him, a massive army, stronger in numbers, overflowing with pride and certainty of victory. He believes the throne is his by right, and he will crush anyone who stands in the way. Now step into this scene with me. You are no longer watching history from a distance. You are standing there, at the edge of the battlefield. You can feel the dry wind on your face, smell the sweat of soldiers, hear the neighing of restless horses. Look around. See Bhishma, the grandsire, ancient yet unshakable, bound by his vow to fight for Hastinapura, even if it means raising his weapon against his beloved grandsons. See Drona, the master of weapons, once the teacher of both Pandavas and Kauravas, now standing on the opposite side of his own pupils. Can you sense the weight of loyalty and duty crushing his heart? Turn your gaze to Arjuna. He stands on his mighty chariot, guided by none other than Krishna, who holds the reins. Arjuna, the greatest archer of his time, his hands steady, yet his heart storming within. His duty demands he fight, but his soul trembles at the thought of killing his own kin, cousins, uncles, teachers, even friends. And what about Krishna? Calm, radiant, his smile hiding infinite wisdom. He is not just Arjuna's charioteer, he is the very compass of Dharma. He knows the war is inevitable, but his role is not to fight. It is to awaken Arjuna, to remind him of his true purpose. Now pause and think. If you were Arjuna at this moment, standing between armies, your bow in hand, would you fight? Or would your heart collapse under the weight of compassion? If you were Krishna, would you stay silent, or would you guide? If you were Bhishma, would you raise your weapon against the very grandchildren you once cradled? And if you were Duryodhana, with power in your grip, would you listen to reason or cling to pride? This is the power of the Bhagavad Gita. It does not just tell the story of warriors, it places you in their sandals. It whispers, "What would you have done?" And it waits for your answer. Share it in the comments. We are waiting to hear which role you would step into and why. Shloka 1.1. Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya. Shloka. King Dhritarashtra, blind by birth, begins the Gita with a question. O Sanjaya, gathered in the holy land of Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? His words are simple, but beneath them lies a storm of attachment, fear, and subtle bias. Then, imagine this scene. The blind king cannot see the battlefield, so he leans on Sanjaya's divine vision. Yet even in his very first words, he doesn't say our sons, but my sons and the sons of Pandu. The division is drawn. Instead of fatherly love uniting both sides, we hear a voice of separation. His blindness is not just physical. It is symbolic of inner blindness, of attachment clouding judgment. This one shloka sets the entire stage for the Gita, where inner vision becomes more important than outer sight. Now, how often do we do the same in our lives? We say my team versus their team, my family versus their family, my success versus their success. The moment we attach mine and theirs, conflict begins. We stop seeing with clarity and start seeing with bias. Like Dhritarashtra, our inner blindness shows when attachment rules over wisdom. We may not be on a battlefield, but every office, every home, and every community can become a Kurukshetra when division enters our hearts. Focus. Ask yourself today, do I see with wisdom or with attachment? Do I unconsciously create divisions in my mind that fuel conflict? The first lesson of the Gita is to open your inner eyes. Before we judge others, let us check whether our own blind spots are shaping our thoughts. In the comments, tell us, if you were Sanjaya reporting back to a blind king, would you tell him only what he wants to hear, or would you speak the unfiltered truth? Shloka 120, Duryodhana, approaches. Drona. Shloka. Sanjaya describes Duryodhana, the Kaurava prince, seeing the Pandava army arranged in military formation, approaches his teacher Dronacharya and speaks. Then, picture this moment. Duryodhana looks across the battlefield and sees the Pandava's army, strong, organized, burning with resolve. For a flicker of a second, doubt creeps in. He immediately rushes to his guru, Dronacharya, seeking reassurance. But note his tone. It's not of respect, but of calculation. He reminds Drona indirectly that even his beloved student Arjuna now stands against him. It is as if Duryodhana is saying, "Remember your duty to me, not to them." Fear hides beneath his arrogance. He is armored not just in steel, but in ego. Now, how often do we do this in life? When we sense weakness, we cover it with pride. When we fear losing, we manipulate, remind others of their obligations, and try to secure loyalty through pressure. Duryodhana is not alone on that battlefield. His mindset lives within us when we cling to authority, position, or control out of insecurity. We forget that true loyalty can never be forced. It must be earned. Focus. The lesson here is clear. Leadership born from fear will always crumble. Before you ask loyalty from others, ask yourself, am I inspiring them or am I pressuring them? Real power lies not in demanding obedience, but in commanding respect. If you were in Duryodhana's place, facing a formidable opponent, would you seek wisdom humbly, or would you mask your fear with pride? Share your thought in the comments. Shlokas 1.3 1.4. Naming the great warriors. Shloka. Duryodhana begins naming the mighty warriors standing with the Pandavas, Bhima, Arjuna, and others skilled in archery and warcraft. His words sound like admiration, but they are dipped in anxiety. Then, this is fascinating. On the battlefield, Duryodhana, full of pride, cannot stop listing the strengths of his enemies. He points out Bhima's might, Arjuna's unmatched skill, and the valor of warriors like Satyaki and Drupada. Why is he doing this? It's because his heart already knows. The Pandavas may be fewer, but they fight with a cause. Duryodhana has numbers, but they have spirit. It is as if he is unconsciously confessing his fear by speaking of their greatness. The teacher Drona listens silently, perhaps reading between the lines of his student's anxiety. Now, isn't this true for us too? When we are insecure, we sometimes obsess over the strengths of others. We talk about how talented she is, how powerful that team is, how lucky they are. We compare, we worry, we almost feed our own fear. But comparison never leads to victory. It only drains energy from our own strength. Like Duryodhana, we lose before the first arrow is fired. Focus. The call to action here is simple. Stop feeding your fear by glorifying the competition. Respect others' strengths, but don't forget your own. The Gita reminds us that success comes from alignment with Dharma, not from envy or fear. Think today, are you focusing more on others' power than your own potential? Comment below which strength you are ready to claim as your weapon on your own battlefield of life. Shloka 1.5.1.6. Duryodhana lists more heroes. Shloka. Duryodhana continues, naming more warriors on the Pandava side, mighty men like Virata, Drupada, and Abhimanyu, each carrying their own weight of courage and destiny. His list grows longer, his worry sharper. Then, imagine the tone in Duryodhana's voice. Look, teacher, look at how many of them there are. His words are an attempt to draw Drona's attention outward, but what they really expose is his inward trembling. Every name he utters is a thorn in his heart, pricking his confidence. It is as if he is building the Pandava army in his imagination larger than it truly is. Fear has that power. It magnifies the enemy and shrinks the self. Behind his mask of control, Duryodhana's heart beats faster with every name he speaks. Now, do we not do the same in our own struggles? When challenges pile up, we recite them like Duryodhana. I have bills, I have deadlines, I have family problems, I have health issues. The more we name them, the bigger they grow in our minds. We give our power away to problems instead of claiming it for solutions. We become like Duryodhana, defeated first in thought before in action. Focus. The Gita whispers to us, stop magnifying the problem and start magnifying the solution. Speak not of fear, but of strength. Remember, the same mind that can multiply problems can also multiply courage. Today, make a choice. What will you give more voice to, your obstacles or your opportunities? Share in the comments which side you choose to empower in your life. Shloka 1.7. Duryodhana lists his commanders. Shloka. Duryodhana says, O best of the twice-born, behold the distinguished heroes of our army, my generals, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatthama, Vikarna, and the mighty son of Somadatta. Then, imagine Duryodhana now, standing tall before his guru, yet his eyes betray the anxiety within. He begins to boast of his side's strength, calling out the great names one by one. Bhishma, the grandsire with an unbroken vow. Karna, the friend whose loyalty burns brighter than reason. Kripa, ever steadfast. Ashvatthama, the fiery son of his teacher. Vikarna, his own brother, who still holds a sense of fairness. And the son of Somadatta, known for his valor. Duryodhana chants these names almost like a mantra, as if reciting them would summon courage into his veins. But beneath the proud words lies an insecure truth. He feels the need to remind himself and his teacher of the power they hold. It is the cry of someone who is afraid of what he sees across the field. Now, how often do we do the same in our lives? We list our achievements, our contacts, our possessions to reassure ourselves when doubt whispers in the heart. We flash resumes, show social circles, or highlight our strengths, when in reality, we are trying to silence the trembling voice inside that says, "What if I'm not enough?" Like Duryodhana, we sometimes cover our insecurity with the armor of external validation. Focus. The truth is, strength doesn't come from the names you can recite, the trophies you can show, or the titles you can claim. It comes from the calm within when all names and titles are stripped away. Before you lean on others for validation, ask yourself, if left alone, would I still feel strong? If you were in Duryodhana's shoes, would you find courage by chanting others' greatness, or by discovering your own inner steadiness? Share your answer in the comments. Shloka 1.8. Duryodhana's full army. Shloka. Duryodhana continues, and many other heroes are ready to lay down their lives for me, armed with various weapons, all well trained in warfare. Then, the Kaurava prince is not done boasting. He waves his hand across the massive army and declares, "Look, not just the great names, but countless others stand behind me, each one ready to die, each one carrying weapons, each one skilled and loyal." His words are painted with confidence, but imagine the reality, an army filled with men who have their own fears, doubts, and families left behind. Duryodhana inflates their courage to inflate his own. This is a king who feels the need to shout his strength louder, because silence would echo too much doubt. Now, don't we do this too? When unsure, we exaggerate. My team is the best. My company is unbeatable. My friends will always stand by me. But life has a way of testing such claims. Numbers may impress, but when the storm hits, only truth and inner strength remain. Loyalty that is forced or bought will fade. Only loyalty rooted in Dharma stands firm. Focus. Real power is not in quantity, but in quality. One person aligned with truth can stand against 1,000 misled by pride. Ask yourself, are you surrounded by people because they are truly with you, or because they are bound by fear or convenience? If you had to face a battle today, who would truly stand beside you? Shloka 1.9. Strength of the Kaurava army. Shloka. Duryodhana declares, our strength is immeasurable, protected as we are by Bhishma. Yet their strength, guarded by Bhima, is limited. Then, here comes the true heart of Duryodhana's speech. He says their strength is limitless because of Bhishma, the grandsire. He dismisses the Pandavas, saying their power is small because it rests on Bhima. But pause for a moment. Does Duryodhana really believe this? Or is he trying to convince himself? Everyone on that battlefield knows Bhima's ferocity and strength. Everyone knows Arjuna's skill with the bow. Duryodhana hides his fear in exaggeration. His words are not confidence, but camouflage. He is like a man whistling loudly while walking through a dark forest, pretending he is not afraid. Now, how often do we underestimate others and overestimate ourselves to protect our fragile ego? We declare, "I can handle this easily," or "They're no match for me," only to discover later that arrogance blinds us. Duryodhana is teaching us what not to do. Do not dismiss the strength of those who stand in truth. Overconfidence is often the first step to downfall. Focus. The lesson here is humility. Do not measure yourself against others with pride, but with honesty. True warriors do not belittle their opponents, they respect them. Ask yourself, when you face challenges, do you prepare with humility, or do you hide fear under overconfidence? Comment below. If you were Duryodhana, would you boast to calm yourself, or prepare silently with focus? Shloka 1:10, Duryodhana reflects on Bhishma. Shloka. Duryodhana admits, "Therefore, all of you, standing in your respective positions, protect Bhishma above all." Then, notice the shift. After all his boasting, Duryodhana suddenly reveals his true anxiety. Why does he instruct everyone to guard Bhishma, the invincible grandsire? Because deep down, he knows. Bhishma is old, bound by vows, and his heart is not fully with the Kauravas. He fears Bhishma's vulnerability, even as he praises his strength. This is the paradox of fear. It leaks through even the strongest words. He begs his warriors to surround Bhishma, for without the grandsire, Duryodhana feels naked in the war. Now, how many times do we hide our dependency under the mask of authority? A leader may appear powerful, but secretly clings to one figure, one system, one anchor. When that anchor is threatened, the leader panics. Duryodhana is every one of us who hides fear in control, who praises someone outwardly, but fears their absence inwardly. Focus. Strength borrowed is never true strength. Protecting your anchor may give temporary safety, but true courage arises only when you can stand without leaning. Ask yourself, in your life, are you leaning too much on one person, one job, one circumstance? What would happen if that anchor moved away? Reflect and comment. Would you panic like Duryodhana, or would you trust your own dharma to guide you? Shloka 1:11. Warriors respond with enthusiasm. Shloka. Sanjaya narrates, "Then the mighty warriors of the Kaurava army, blowing their conches and raising their weapons, roared in unison to cheer Duryodhana. Then, what a scene! The battlefield shakes with sound as thousands of conches blast. Swords, spears, and bows glisten in the morning sun. The roar of soldiers echoes like thunder. They are trying to drown the fear in Duryodhana's heart with the sound of courage. But if you listen closely, that noise is more for themselves than for the enemy. They need to feel powerful to create an atmosphere of certainty. Yet sound cannot change the truth. Inside, each soldier still knows he may never see home again. Now, we too make noise when silence feels heavy. We fill conversations with words, social media with posts, meetings with presentations, all to show strength even when unsure inside. Loudness is often a mask for fear. True confidence speaks softly. Focus. The question is, are you roaring because you are strong or because you are afraid? Power does not need to shout, it radiates quietly. Reflect. In your moments of fear, do you try to drown it in noise or do you sit with it in silence? Comment. If you were one of those soldiers, would your conch be a sound of courage or a shield for fear? Shloka 1:12. Bhishma blows his conch. Shloka. Sanjaya describes, "Then Bhishma, the mighty grandsire, eldest of the Kurus, blew his great conch, making the hearts of the Pandavas tremble." Then, and now the climactic moment, Bhishma, the grandsire, the pillar of the Kaurava side, lifts his mighty conch. With one deep breath, he blows. The sound explodes like a storm across the battlefield. The earth seems to shake, the sky seems to split. Sanjaya says the Pandavas' hearts trembled. Imagine being there, the man who raised both Pandavas and Kauravas, now standing firmly against one side. His conch was not just sound, it was the weight of destiny, declaring the war had truly begun. Now, life too has such moments of no return. The moment you sign the paper, the moment you say yes or no, the moment a door closes behind you. Bhishma's conch was one such moment. Once blown, there was no going back. We each face our own conch moments, decisions that declare, the battle has begun. Focus. The question is, when your decisive moment comes, will you blow your conch with clarity or hesitate with fear? Bhishma blew his despite knowing the burden of his vow. What about you? Comment below. What is your conch moment in life? The point where retreat was no longer an option. Reflections on the first 12 shlokas. We have walked together through the first 12 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, and what an intense stage it has set. A battlefield, yes, but more than that, it is the battlefield of the mind, where pride and humility, fear and courage, duty and doubt all collide. Think about what we've seen. Dhritarashtra opening with a question, not of concern for truth, but of worry for his own side. Duryodhana, armored in arrogance, yet trembling beneath it, running to his teacher for reassurance. Bhishma, blowing his mighty conch, trying to inspire courage, but also signaling the tragic irony of fighting against those he once nurtured. And then, the Pandavas, calm, resolute, anchored in righteousness, answering not with words, but with the sound of conches that thunder with justice. These opening moments are not just history, they are mirrors. Every one of these characters represents a side of us. Dhritarashtra's blindness is not just physical, it is the blindness of favoritism, the refusal to see truth when it is uncomfortable. Duryodhana is not just a warrior prince, he is the voice inside us that disguises insecurity with pride. Bhishma is not only a great elder, he is the part of us that clings to duty even when the heart knows it is misplaced. And the Pandavas? They remind us that when our cause is just, we don't need loud arguments. Our integrity itself makes the loudest sound. Now let me ask you, if you were on that battlefield, who would you be? Dhritarashtra clinging to attachment? Duryodhana commanding with fear? Bhishma torn by duty and love? Or Arjuna and the Pandavas, steady in truth yet carrying the burden of enormous responsibility? This is the genius of the Gita. It doesn't just tell a story of kings and warriors, it holds up a mirror and whispers, "Look closely, this is you, these choices are yours." Takeaway for today. Life constantly puts us in Kurukshetras, workplaces, relationships, families, even within our own hearts. And like the warriors here, we too must decide. Do we act from fear, pride, or blind attachment, or do we step forward with clarity, humility, and truth? As we pause at the end of these first 12 shlokas, I invite you to reflect. Which character's shadow do you recognize in yourself today? Comment below. Your answer might surprise you, and it might inspire someone else on their journey too. This is just the beginning. The greatest dialogue in human history is about to unfold. Stay with me, because what comes next will not only shake Arjuna, it will awaken every one of us.